If any councillor has a disclosable pecuniary interest or an affected interest to declare, please indicate by raising your hand and I will come to you in turn. Yes, Councillor Hayden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Councillor Hayden speaking. I have a potential affected interest or in item 5.12, the joint venture business plan.
Thank you, Councillor Hayden. Mr. Parashar, so during that item, does Councillor Hayden need to leave? Or?
I understand that was the case in the previous meeting as an affected, as a disclosable pecuniary interest, so the answer is yes.
Okay, so we'll do that accordingly. Thank you. Deputy Mayor, are there any other interests indicated remotely?
No one has indicated an interest.
Thank you. We now come to agenda item 4, which are Mayor's announcements. So I would like to start this section on Mayor's announcements by recognizing the opportunity champions that have been selected, if that is the right word. Well, it's more than a selection. It is the recognition of the great work and the great contribution that they have given to our beautiful borough over many years. So I'm very proud to announce the first recipient in this phase of the Opportunity Champion recognition, which is Keith Bunyan. Now, the name might or might not be familiar to you, but I can bet my bottom dollar that most of you would recognize him by face, because in the circa 18 years that I have lived in Bracknell Forest, whenever I've traveled from Martin's Heron Station and sometimes from Bracknell as well, he's been the friendly face across the ticket window. And I've always thought to myself that this guy goes above and beyond to help you, not only it might sound like a very simple transactional thing, but if you have dealt with Keith, you will know that he will spend all the time to make sure you've got the right ticket for the journey. He single-handedly, I believe, manages Martin's Heron Station and then, of course, the Bracknell Station, and it might be beyond that as well. But sort of, he's someone who people really relate to very strongly. And sort of, his smile, his contribution, his helpfulness has touched many lives in Bracknell Forest. And I wanted to recognize that. So the Opportunity Champion recognition, the first one today is Keith Bunyan. The second recognition today is equally notable. I can also speak about that because the person might not know me very well personally, but I have heard a lot of great things about her over the years. But I think it will be appropriate if I invite our executive member for Children, Young People and Learning, Dr. Gareth Barnard, to talk about our next recipient, Anna Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. So tonight we're here to recognise the work of Anna Kennedy and all her team at Warfield CV Primary School. And I have to start by declaring an interest because actually at least one of my children was actually a child at the school when Anna was head teacher to begin with at Warfield CV Primary. And I was thinking about this evening, and I still miss the walk through Whitegrove Copse at this time of year, when the bluebells are out and things like that to and from primary school because they grow up and move on. But we're here tonight to recognise Anna Kennedy and Kathy Shepherd and also Melanie, the Chair of Governance, and all the school community, because they did something quite exceptional in Warfield. First of all, they opened the new Woodhurst School, the Warfield CV Primary School Woodhurst site. It was done flawlessly. The children were all bedded in and supported at that. And then not long afterwards, sort of in the spirit of the school, always putting children first, they then went through a very, very complex procedure of actually amalgamating the existing All Saints site onto the Woodhurst site, and decided to add to the challenge by doing this during COVID and on occasions with COVID. And what was absolutely fantastic was the way that that took place, the fact that Anna and her team took all the parents and families with them on the journey, the project boards where they were thinking and working on things as diverse as parking permits, travel plans, fixtures and fittings in the new school, working with the staff, you know, through the transition as well, from moving from 2 sites to 1, securing the old site, which still presents issues on occasions, but working through all of that. But throughout all of it, what I think has stood out to all of us, and why we're recognising Anna and Warfield COV Primary School tonight, is the children were always put first. And it was just wonderful to see how they all settled in there, and how actually so many different facets of the project were supported. And I remember Chris Taylor, who some people might remember from here before he retired, he said it was a pleasure working with the school to do this on an ongoing basis. And I will never forget the first consultation with the community that took place online, I think, during the first lockdown. And that just really showed what they were up against. And the great thing was, through all of this, everyone, the school functioned, the children were supported, you know, coming back after various interruptions during lockdowns, you know, looking at the attendance, looking at the support for the families. And then just to sort of crown it all, not long after this all happened, Ofsted popped in through the front door to actually inspect the school, and once again judged it to be a really strong, good school in Bracknell Forest. So a lot going on, but I think congratulations from all of us to Anna and to everyone at Warfield COV Primary for really wonderfully supporting our children through what has been probably more than one project that head teacher might do one, but seldom two in their careers. So well done, Anna. Well done to the team. Thank you.
The next recipient, unfortunately, could not join us today, but I would still like to highlight the contribution that this person has made with her team, and we will find another opportunity to sort of, present this award to them here. Some of you joined us, I think it was last month, at the opening of the Repair Cafe in Crowthorne, which is such a fantastic initiative, which not only helps the community with, getting their small appliances or tools, etc., mended, which otherwise would have gone to landfill, but at the same time is a great contribution towards preventing stuff going into landfill and helping the environment. And there is a lot of effort that went into creating this Repair Cafe and this initiative. And we wanted to recognize Georgina Morris, who led this initiative. So she unfortunately can't be with us today, but we will present the award to her at the next occasion. But I would like to request everyone to give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Moving forward, just in terms of the stuff the mayoralty, the mayor's office has been involved in since we had our last council meeting. It has been quite a busy time for me and the deputy mayor, us together. So, of course, a lot of citizenship ceremonies, which we have together conducted. Quite a few visits to school. So there was one with Sandhurst School where we had sort of, 4 one-hour sessions with the students at Sandhurst School, talking to them about democracy, which I think went well based on the response at that time, and it was mentioned in their newsletter as well. Then we had one session here with East Hampstead Park School along with Councillor Mary Temperton. So we did a double act, taking the students through democracy and how democracy works at a local level, which was quite a good initiative. We had a big event in the calendar, which was the Mayor's Service. And I'm pleased to share that we had a historic service, which was the first of its kind dual Hindu-Christian faith service which was held in Bracknell, which was very, very strongly appreciated by the people who attended, but was also covered far and wide, and I'm pleased to share internationally as well, which I think is a very strong testament to this council and the work that we do in promoting diversity, because sort of, you know, that celebrated multiple cultures at the same time, which is at the heart of the work that we do here. Apart from all of that, there is one big event which I would like to highlight, which was when we welcomed our sovereign, our monarch, last week at the Sovereign's 200th parade at Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, which was a huge honor for myself, the Mayor of Sandhurst, Mayoress of Sandhurst, and other dignitaries, along with our MP, James Sunderland. And it was a great occasion for us, and an absolutely brilliant day for all those officers who were passing out on that day. So I would like to sort of, you know, highlight that big event that was there last week. Linked to, of course, our monarch, the big event that is coming up is the coronation, and I'm pleased to share, which I think can be expected based on the events our fantastic events team and the council team have put together in the past. We have amazing events planned for the coronation. There will be the screening at the Lexicon, and I think, you know, most of the councillors here are invited to that, plus a lot of other dignitaries as well. The screening will be followed by a tea that I'll be hosting at Waitrose. We are building, I believe, the largest coronation crown in Princess Square, which is being made using pictures which we have received from residents across the borough. I believe there is going to be a tea dance. There are multiple other events, including orchestra, choirs, etc., that will go on in the Lexicon. So multiple events planned on the day, which is the 6th of May. But then we are also going to multiple street parties to celebrate the coronation with our residents. So that is something that is happening on the coronation. Please follow the announcements that will come from the council and our team in terms of the further details on that. Okay. I think I have covered most of the things that were there. Yeah, libraries will be hosting a range of royal events to mark the coronation as well. And yeah. Okay, we now come to the regular report of the executive at agenda item 5. Can I request Councillor Burge to present the report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, everybody, and my congratulations to our award winners tonight as well, if I can do that. That's me. I'm the Deputy Mayor. Sorry, not this time. The Deputy Leader. Freudian slip there. Well, who knows what might happen. But if we could bring up the first slide, and that is that we have held one executive meeting on the 21st of March, but I would draw to members' attention that it was a very packed agenda, as you will see from the report. I'm not going to read everything verbatim. Huge sigh of relief from everyone there, but I just want to pull out the salient points of what are some quite interesting and important decisions that have been made by the executive, and we will have a couple of recommendations that we're bringing to council. And the first item is that of the proposed main modifications to the Bracknell Forest local plan. This is a hugely important plan for everyone in Bracknell Forest and surrounding areas. And the important thing about this at the moment is that this is about responding to the letter that we received from the inspector advising us that up to that point they were content with our plan other than a number of modifications, exclusions and modifications that need to be made. And what this now does is move forward our response to the inspectors in terms of those proposed main modifications. And the important thing about this is that, as always, this is about bringing our residents with us. And of course, once all our main modifications have been put together, we will then, which is this, we then go out in the summer for a further 6 weeks of consultation against those main modifications. So that was the importance of that. And of course, we are still looking to, within the time frame, to have our local plan found sound and approved towards the end of the year. Moving on to the next one, and that's and this particular one has been quite topical, in as much as it is the Highways and Transport Capital Programme, and this includes all the work that we do using capital to maintain and develop our infrastructure, our road and transport infrastructure. And of course, you'll see from that and from the report to the executive the amount of money that we actually get from external sources, and we're able to then use on some of those very effective schemes that we've put in place. And the other element on that presentation slide is the SANG capacity agreements. And you'll see that down in Sandhurst at Shepherd Meadows, we have done a deal with Surrey Heath Borough Council, and money changes hands, and they are making a financial contribution to us so that they can use that area as a SANG, and that's suitable alternative natural green spaces. And what that actually means is that any space, when you're building new houses, any space that you can make available so that people will take recreation, will walk their dogs and everything, will do it in that space and not go on to the SPA where there are protected species. That's the purpose of a SANG, and the developers that develop houses are required to make contributions towards that, and that's a deal we put in place. Moving on, if I may, to the school places plan, again, a very important topic, and what I'm pleased to say here is that this plan has been worked on with the head teachers and the schools, and the report back was how the head teachers had welcomed the level of engagement and activity in shaping the council's vision and approach to school places. So, and that's an important part of putting any plan together, is making sure the people that it affects have as strong a say as possible in delivering it. Can I move on then to the Another important one, as I said, it may have only been one meeting, but the topics we discussed were very important. And the executive has agreed the Household Support Fund, and they called it Phase 4 as it is, because we have, as members will be aware, been delivering a number of projects and phases in the household support side of things. And household support is about assisting our residents whilst and through the cost of living, post-pandemic and cost of living and energy price periods. And you'll see that not only have we been receiving DWP money and processing government money, but we, the council, have added to a number of the initiatives to make sure they go just that little bit further, because we recognise that some of our families and vulnerable individuals are finding it tough out there. And so the fund was very warmly welcomed and allows for the purchasing of prepaid cards and vouchers for schools and so on, meals and all that sort of stuff. And we've added to some of the council tax reduction type things that we could have done, and hopefully that will assist people in these current times. We can move on to the council plan overview report. Now, the council prides itself and has been independently assessed as being well run and performance led with strong leadership, and that comes through the fact that we produce regularly plan updates, council plan updates. We monitor our officers, we set out a plan, a vision, we take that plan and vision into the council plan, and you can go online and see the council plan, and then we measure how that those issues are being measured and how they're being delivered. And some, of course, some get completed, some get modified through circumstances, etc. But the importance is that with our council plan, that we monitor it and we keep a close eye on all the things that are not just in the green, but also those that might be slipping. So that's the importance of that, and it comes through regularly through the executive and council so that people can understand what we're doing and how well we're doing it. We can move on to our service plans. Part of the monitoring of the way the council delivers its services is the fact that we take a strategy. We've got lots of strategies and plans, and those are based on legislation, and they get put in at a high level. What we then need to do with our officers, take those strategies and plans and they turn them into the actual delivery mechanisms, the actual service plans that officers and the staff of the authority then go and deliver. And then, of course, via those service plans, the previous item I mentioned, we're able to monitor performance of those service plans as well. And all directorates have reviewed service plans, and we are reviewing that. And then in September, we will do a refresh of that. And the reason for that is pretty apparent, because in a few weeks' time there's going to be an election, and the policies that any new policies that may come out after the election will need to be incorporated into any new plan and so forth. And that's why there will be a service plan refresh at that point. Moving on, if I may, The Local Authority Housing Fund, this is one close to my heart because I'm responsible for housing, and housing particularly for temporary accommodation. That's to provide for people that have become or becoming homeless, put them into somewhere where we can then look around and find them something more permanent. And of course, I'm sure it won't surprise any of you to know that 3-bedroom properties in particular are particularly difficult to come across and come by. But we got some funding, and we're putting some funding ourselves into actually acquiring 7 3-beds, and we're going to refurbish 2 3-bed properties in our existing stock. So we're going to get 7 new ones, and then we're going to redo a couple of others so that we can ease the burden on our have more stock available to ease the burden on our homeless people. And at this point, can I make a plug for and make a shout out for our excellent homeless team and our housing options team, who do an amazing job on behalf of the whole community, first of all preventing homeless, and then when people are, the amount of work and that goes in, and the amount of work on rough sleepers, for instance, is absolutely exemplary, and that gave me the opportunity to say thanks there. So that's what we will be doing, and I shall be asking for support from the council in a few moments. The next item is called the Section 75 Agreement. Now, a Section 75 Agreement is a legal undertaking between the council and our NHS colleagues. And what it allows us and enables us to do is to pool our budgets to deliver health and care services together from the shared venues and so it's absolutely vital to the future of health and care. We've been doing it for quite some time, and what we are now doing is reviewing and recommending the model for future Section 75 agreements so that they are even more integrated with the Frimley Integrated Care Board, and that particularly, to give an example, on our mental health services that we provide, our mental health clients will be going to, say, Churchill House, and they will be working with people with Bracknell Forest badge on, and the person stood next to them will have an NHS badge on, and they're all doing, and it's seamless. And that's the purpose of a Section 75 agreement. And Executive, we're very pleased to agree there. If I can move on, I did tell you it was a busy meeting that we had. So the other very important topic that we agreed on was a strategic procurement plan. That's not the laying of contracts yet, but that was a plan to go out to prepare a procurement plan for sexual and reproductive health. And the difference from last time is Bracknell Forest will be leading on this procurement plan and the procurement for the 3 local authorities in East Berkshire. And so we are looking forward to, again, integrating those services so that those services can be improved in the future. We move on. Oh, the next one's really exciting, folks. God, I can see you all hanging back for this. We're going to procure and we're going to get some Microsoft 365 licenses. I told you it was exciting, didn't I? And we've got an excellent provider noted there who's worked with us for a number of years and does know and understand our systems. So I'm then moving on, if I may, to yes, well done, thank you. And this is our joint venture business plan review. As with all things that the council puts together at regular times, it reviews what it's doing. And we've noted the progress of our Cambium partnership, which is a joint venture we have to deliver a range of developments across the authority. And in particular, the part that is noted there is the fact that we're looking to develop the area at the end of Market Street, just literally down the end there on the left. But underneath that site is a pretty significant part of the national sewer network. Right? We're not going through the motions, so don't worry about it. Sorry, related. So what we have to do is provide a bond and indemnity to those statutory providers that we're not going to mess with their mess. There we are. And so that's part of that review, and I'm pleased to say that that will free up that site so that we can bring it forward and we can develop it for the good of the whole community. Thank you on that. And I think, yes, that is me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. I love your signature there. Does any councillor have any questions of fact? Yes, Councillor Templeton.
Thank you. Councillor Templeton, it's about the Local Authority Housing Fund. You talk, and it's really good, to acquire 7 3-bedroom houses and refurbish 2 3-bedroom properties, but then on 5.85 it mentions a 4-bedroom property. And can you tell me, is the 4-bedroom property also to be bought? Because obviously 4-bedroom houses are a premium, and for larger families they are really so desperately needed.
I can ask if that has been put in place. Is Gráinne Siggins with us, or perhaps Chief Exec might? It is an intention within the plan to deliver one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Any other questions in the room? Okay, Madam Deputy Mayor, are there any questions remotely?
There are not. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Birch.
Mr. Mayor, could I then crave your indulgence and members' indulgence, because this evening is an important council meeting, and Mr. Mayor, at every election there are councillors who get the opportunity to spend more time with their family voluntarily. And tonight I'd like to draw attention to those members who are standing down from this council this time. In doing so, I'd like us to record our sincere thanks to Councillor Robert Angel, to Councillor Nigel Atkinson, to Councillor Michael Brossard, to Councillor Mark Brunel Walker, to Councillor Mrs Sandra Ingham, to Councillor Ms Gabby Kennedy, to Councillor Ian Kirk, to Councillor Mrs Isabel Mattick, and to Councillor Mrs Pauline Mackenzie, and Councillor Thomas Parker, and to Councillor John Porter. The individual lengths of service range from a single term, which is 4 years, up to 7 terms at 28 years of service. And in total, the councillors standing down this time have amassed a total of 124 years of service to our community. So as you can all hear, I'd just like to get you to do that again, because with our sincere thanks to everybody on behalf of all the work you've done, not just for the council, but also in your communities. And we wish you sincerely well with all that spare time you're going to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Before we move to the next agenda items, I would just like to share with our Opportunity Champion Recognition awardees that if you would like to stay, you are more than welcome. But if you would like to, maybe get your evening back, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
That was too exciting, wasn't it?
Thank you so much and very well done. Okay, we now come to the recommendation on page 27 of the agenda report relating to the Local Authority Housing Fund. Councillor Birch, would you like to move this recommendation?
Mr. Mayor, I'm pleased to move the recommendation shown on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Is that seconded?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second that as Councillor Allen.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Does any councillor wish to speak? Don't see anything in the room. Madam Deputy Mayor, anyone wanting to speak, wishing to speak remotely?
No, there is not.
Okay, thank you. The recommendation is set out on the screen. Can all those present in the chamber indicate by raising your hand if you support the recommendation? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. That is carried. We now come to the recommendation on page 29 of the agenda report relating to the joint venture business plan review. Councillor Birch, would you like to move this recommendation?
I'm pleased to move the item and the recommendation shown on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Is that seconded? Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Dr. Gareth Barnard. Does any councillor wish to speak? Okay, I don't see anything in the room. Madam Deputy Mayor, anyone wishing to speak remotely?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you. The recommendation is set out on the screen. Can all those present in the chamber indicate by raising your hand if you support the recommendation? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. That is carried. The next item on the agenda is item 6, which is the report of overview and scrutiny. If any councillor has a question, please indicate by raising your hand and I will come to you in turn. Okay, any questions remotely, Madam Deputy Mayor?
There are not, thank you.
Thank you. There being no questions, Councillor Angel, would you like to move these recommendations?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I move the recommendation that the council accepts the overview and scrutiny work programme review, which is an annual review that comes to the council. If I've got a seconder, if I can just have a few minutes.
Councillor Virgo, happy to second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Virgo.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say that normally this is an annual review, but on this occasion, the report actually covers the 4 years of this council that comes to an end. And of course, the Scrutiny Commission really has to thank all the participants that have come before us, and there have been many of them, not least of all of our own councillors, our executive members. But of course, we've had the police, we have health, we had the fire the other week, fire officer. And without that, it probably wouldn't be so interesting, may I say, in terms of scrutinising the work for our residents, which is what we're doing in this programme. We've gone through a heck of a lot of work in the last 4 years, and if you read the report, it details all the number of panel meetings, how many they've held, how much time they've spent on it. And just for the sake of record, of course, the Overview and Scrutiny Commission has 3 panels that carry out much of the detailed work. And I think I'm right in saying over the 4 years of the work, the panel do the detailed work, bring recommendations to the actual commission. The commission then look at those and then forward the recommendations that they agree with to the executive. And if my recollection is right, I don't think there has been one recommendation that's gone to the executive that has been refused, which I think shows the detail of work that's gone in to getting those recommendations correct. So I personally would like to thank the 3 panel chairman and vice chairman and all of those members that take part, and indeed members from outside that take part. And it's very important because if people don't take part in the scrutiny process, then of course it really means very little. But as I say, it seems to, we've hit a note where it means an awful lot. The recommendations are meaningful, purposeful, and I would like to recommend this to is accepted by the council in its entirety, and thank all of the officers, particularly who supported us, because without them, of course, a lot of the work, the detailed work, would not be possible. So thank you to everybody in the last 4 years that's made this all possible.
Thank you, Councillor Angel. Councillor Virgo, do you wish to speak or reserve?
Just briefly, just to say thank you as I'll shout actually. Just briefly, Mr. Mayor, to thank everyone, but also to thank Councillor Angel for chairing this. And as we know, it's his last session, so I'm sure we'd all like to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, I think, from everyone to work on Overview and Scrutiny. I think we do a good job for this council to make sure things are done well. And, you know, I wish whoever takes over success for the future. So thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Virgo, and many thanks to Councillor Angel from my side as well. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Okay. I don't see anything here. Anything, anyone wishes to speak remotely?
Nobody online, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Angel, would you like to sum up? I think you've already sort of given your perspective, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah. The recommendations are set out on the screen. Can all those present in the chamber please indicate by raising your hand if you support the recommendation? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? That is carried. Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. I now declare the meeting closed.